My name is Pearl. And last Monday morning I heard something that froze my heart. My daughter-in-law, Rebecca, looked at me with cold, hard eyes and said, "You're too old to live with us now. We need space. You should move to a senior home." Those words, they shattered every single piece of me. I raised her husband. I helped build this family with my own 2 hands. And now, I was just too old for them. That day, I made a decision she never ever expected. A decision that would change this whole family forever. I'd been living with my son Daniel and his wife Rebecca for 8 months. At first, she was so sweet. She'd say things like, "Mom, Pearl, we're so happy to have you here while you're recovering." But slowly, I noticed her tone changing. The sighs became louder. The eye rolls were more frequent. I'd hear whispers under her breath. Then came the small comments, little jabs that stung more than she knew. "Your things are everywhere. Do you really need help again?" Older people should know when to step back. Each comment was a tiny cut, but they went deep. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't want to cause any trouble in my son's home. But last Monday, everything came to a head. My hands were trembling, and I accidentally dropped a glass. It shattered on the floor. Daniel rushed over immediately. "It's okay, Mom. Just sit down." But before he could finish, Rebecca exploded. "No, Daniel, it's not okay. Your mother is too old to be here. She slows everything down. I have a family to run." The room started to spin. I felt my whole body go cold and stiff. I looked at Daniel hoping he'd say something, anything. But he just stood there, completely silent. Rebecca wasn't finished. She continued, her voice rising with every word. "We need our own life back. Mom Pearl needs to move out. I'm done." My voice was barely a whisper when I said, "I didn't know I was making your life so hard." But she just snapped back, "You are!" And those were the words that finally broke me. I felt something inside me just give up. That night I prayed. I asked God for a sign, for some guidance on what to do. But instead of a sign, I made a decision myself. At sunrise the next morning, while everyone was still asleep, I quietly packed one small bag. I took a piece of paper and wrote a short note. "Don't worry, you don't have to take care of me anymore." I left it on my pillow, but I didn't go to a senior home. I went somewhere nobody would ever expect. I went to the very house Rebecca came from. Her mother, Linda, opened the door, her eyes wide with shock. "Pearl, what happened? What are you doing here?" I stepped inside and I told her everything. Every single sigh, every eye roll, every disrespectful word that had been thrown my way. Linda listened patiently, her expression growing more serious with each detail. When I finished, she took both of my hands in hers and said, "Come inside. She has forgotten the value of family. Let me remind her." For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. Meanwhile, back at the house, Daniel woke up and found my room empty. He saw the note on the pillow. He saw my bag was gone. Panic set in. He started calling everywhere. Hospitals, neighbors, my old friends. He was frantic. Rebecca tried to act annoyed, brushing it off. "She'll be fine. She always exaggerates." But this time, Daniel didn't let it slide. He screamed at her, a side of him I had never ever seen before. "She's my mother. You pushed her away." For the first time, I think Rebecca started to realize the gravity of what she had done. The annoyance on her face was replaced with a flicker of fear. Later that evening, Daniel finally tracked me down. He arrived at Linda's house, his eyes red and swollen from crying, his hands shaking. "Mom, come home. Please, come home." I looked at my son, my heart aching for him. But I spoke softly and firmly. "I will, Daniel, but not until Rebecca understands what she said." Just at that moment, Rebecca stepped forward from behind him, her face streaked with tears. "Mom Pearl, I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't know why I said those things. I was stressed, I was angry, but you didn't deserve any of it." Her mother Linda stepped in, her voice sharp and clear. "Rebecca, if you ever talk to Pearl like that again, you'll answer to me first." And for the first time in a long time, Rebecca stayed silent. She looked humbled, defeated. We all sat down together in Linda's living room. The air was thick with tension, but it was a necessary tension. Rebecca finally admitted it all. "I treated you like a burden because I was overwhelmed with everything. But that's not an excuse. Your family, you're Daniel's mother. You're the grandmother of our children. I am so sorry." I reached out and took her hand. I looked her in the eyes and said, "I don't need perfection, Rebecca. I just need respect." And from that day forward, everything changed. It wasn't an overnight miracle, but the shift was real. Rebecca became more patient, more considerate. She started asking if I needed help instead of sighing when I asked for it. Daniel became more protective, more aware. He started standing up for me, making sure I felt included. And as for me, I learned something incredibly powerful through all of this. Sometimes you have to walk away, not because you're weak, but because you know your worth. Sometimes your absence teaches a lesson that your presence never could. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt overlooked or unappreciated, remember your strength. Please consider subscribing for more stories like this.